Hello, my name is Lilly Halverson, and I'm reading Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli. Stargirl is about a unique girl, far different from the norm, who transfers to Mika High. She ends up being more than just good luck charm. She is the freedom the Mika High hearts are looking for, the freedom to be yourself. Stargirl's origins gave way to other theories. She was trying to get herself discovered for the movies. She was sniffing fumes. She was a homeschooling gone amok. She was an alien. The rat she brought to school was only the tip of the iceberg. She had hundreds of them at home, some as big as cats. She lived in a ghost town in the desert. She lived in a bus. Her parents were circus acrobats. Her parents were witches. Her parents were brain-dead vegetables in a hospital in Yuma. We joined as she sang happy birthday to us in the lunchroom. We heard her greet us in the hallways and classrooms, and we wondered how she knew our names and our birthdays. Her caught-in-the-headlights eyes gave her the look of perpetual astonishment, so that we found ourselves turning and looking back over our shoulders, wondering what we had missed. We're missing. She laughed when there was no joke. She danced when there was no music. She had no friends, yet she was the friendliest person in school. In her answers in class, she often spoke of seahorses and stars, but she did not know what a football was. She said there was no television in her house. She was elusive. She was today. She was tomorrow. She was the faintest scent of a cactus flower, the flitting shadow of an elf owl. We did not know what to make of her. In our minds, we tried to pin her to a corkboard like a butterfly, but the pin merely went through and away she flew. On December 1st, Stargirl Carraway had become the most popular person in school. How did it happen? Was it the cheerleading? Was it a Hillary Kimball backlash? Was it Hillary Dilson? Was it us? Did we change? Why didn't Hillary Kimball drop the rat to its death? Did she see something in her eyes? Whatever the reason, by the time we returned to Thanksgiving break, it was clear that a change had occurred. Suddenly, Stargirl was not dangerous, and we rushed to embrace her. Calls us Stargirl flew down the hallways. We couldn't say her name often enough. It tickled us to mention her name to strangers and watch the expressions on their faces. Girls liked her, boys liked her, and most remarkable of all, the attention came from all kind of kids, the shy mice and princesses, jocks and eggheads. We honored her by her imitation. A chorus of ukuleles strummed in the lunchroom. Flowers appeared in classroom desks. One day it rained and a dozen girls ran outside to dance. The pet shop at the Mika Mall ran out of rats. Small gestures, words, empathies, thought to be extinct, came to life. For years, the strangers among us had passed solemnly in the hallways. Now we looked, we nodded, we smiled. Someone got an A, others celebrated too. If someone sprained their ankle, others felt the pain. We discovered the color of each other's eyes. It was a rebellion. She led, a rebellion for rather than against. For the dormant mud frogs we had been for so long. Yes. Kids whose voices had never been heard before spoke up in class. Letters to the editor filled a whole page of the school's new paper, December edition. More than 100 students tried out for the spring review. One kid started a camera club. Another wore hush puppies instead of sneakers. A plain, timid girl painted her toenails Kelly green. A boy showed up in school with purple hair. It's a miracle, I gushed to Archie one day. He stood on the edge of his back porch. He did not turn. He pulled the pipe slowly from between his lips. He spoke as if senior cigar or to the blazing mountains beyond. Best hope it's not, he said. The trouble with miracles is they don't last long. When the end came, it was the golden age. Those few weeks in December and January, how could I know when the end came I would be in the middle of it? We fell in love with our team. When we spoke of it, we used the word we instead of they. The leading scorer, Brent Ardsley, seemed to have a golden glow about him as he moved through the school. And the more we loved our team, the more we hated opposition. We used to envy them. We even applauded them and despite our hapless teams. Now we detested the opposition and everything about them. We hated their uniforms. We hated their coaches and fans. We hated them because they were trying to spoil a perfect season. We resented every point scored against us, and how dare they celebrate? We began to boo. It was our first experience as booers, but you would have thought we were veterans. We booed the other fans, the referees, whatever threatened our perfect season, we booed. We even booed the scoreboard. We hated games that went down to the wire. We hated suspense. We loved games that were decided in the first 5 minutes. We wanted more than victories. We wanted massacres. The only score we'd have been totally happy with would have been 100-0. And right there in the middle of it all, in the midst of the perfect season mania, was Stargirl, popping up whenever the ball went through the net, no matter which team scored, cheering everything and everybody. If it was sometime in January when calls started flying from the stands, "Sit down." Then came the boos. She didn't seem to notice. She did not seem to notice. Of all the unusual features of Stargirl, this struck me as the most remarkable. Bad things did not stick to her. Her bad things did not stick to her. Our bad things stuck to her very much. If we were hurt, if we were unhappy or otherwise victimized in life, she seemed to know about it and to care as soon as we did. But bad things falling on her, unkind words, nasty sores, foot blisters, she seemed unaware of. I never saw her look in the mirror, never had heard her complain. All of her feelings, all of her attentions flow outward. She had no ego. Since graduating, our class has had a reunion every 5 years, but I haven't yet gone. The high school has a new club called the Sunflowers. To join, you have to sign an agreement promising to do one nice thing per day for someone other than myself. Today's Electrons marching band is probably the only one in Arizona with a ukulele. On the basketball court, the Electrons have never come close to the success they enjoyed when I was a junior. But something from the season had resurfaced recent years that baffles fans from other schools. At every game, when the opposing team scores its first basket, a small group of Electrons jumps up to their feet and cheers. As for me, I throw myself into my work and keep an eye peeled for silver lunch trucks, and I remember. I sometimes walk in the rain without an umbrella. When I see change on the sidewalk, I leave it there. If no one is looking, I drop a quarter. I feel guilty when I buy a card from Hallmark. I listen to mockingbirds. I read the newspapers. I read them from all over. I skip the front pages and headlines and go to the pages in the back. I read the community sections and the fillers. I see little acts of kindness happening from Maine to California. I read of man in Kansas City who stands in a busy intersection every morning and waves to the people driving to work. I read of a little girl in Oregon who sells lemonade in front of her house for 5 cents a cup, and offers a free back scratch to every customer. When I read about these things like these, I wonder, is she there? I wonder what she calls herself now. I wonder if she lost her freckles. I wonder if I'll ever get another chance. I wonder, but I don't despair. Though I have no family of my own, I do not feel alone. I know that I'm being watched. The echo of her laughter and the second sunrise I awaken to each day, and at night I feel it is more than the stars looking down at me. Last month, one day before my birthday, I received a gift wrapped packed in the mail. It was a porcupine necktie.